Victory against the Met for women who reported being raped but were let down by police. A judge has ruled that 2 women who were sexually assaulted by a black cab driver are entitled to compensation after failures in the investigation by the Metropolitan Police. John Warboys carried out more than 100 rapes and assaults between 2002 and 2008, using alcohol and drugs to subdue his victims. He was jailed for life in 2009. The judge said there were systematic failings in the investigation, including failure to interview key witnesses, follow up on CCTV footage, or prepare properly for interviews with witnesses. Following the verdict, one of the victims had this to say about her experience.
It was the police made me feel that I'd made it all up, and I hadn't made it up. And for 5 years, I just blocked it out as much as I could, and when it did come to the front, it was like, I'm going mad, because this didn't really happen. And then I remember the nights I had a call from my friend, the one whose birthday it was that particular night, and he said, you got to turn the telly on, the news, they're appealing for witnesses. It's a black cab driver. And I was so angry because I thought, I'm not mad. I actually didn't lie. I didn't make it up. I didn't imagine it. I was telling the truth. Had they done their job properly, then there wouldn't have been all these victims.
Well, Nicola Mann from Women Against Rape joins me in the studio. Nicola, thank you for joining us this evening. First of all, what's your reaction to today's ruling? Because it is hugely significant, isn't it?
It is. We're really pleased that the ruling has been granted. We worked with a woman last year who successfully sued the Metropolitan Police as well, and her case was a precedent. She unfortunately couldn't go all the way to court because she couldn't afford to risk the court costs, because unfortunately when you're a victim of rape and you're trying to get justice, you don't have the resources that the police have to fight cases. But her case was a landmark, and we're really pleased with this case because it's now bringing into the public eye that the police need to be held accountable when they fail rape victims.
We just heard from one victim there who said how she just felt completely ignored, and also that she felt guilty because had she been listened to, Warboys would have been stopped from committing more crimes.
Yes, and when she said that she went to the police and she felt like they didn't believe her, that resonates with so many of us that have been in a similar situation, or the women that contact us at Women Against Rape and are still saying now that police are making them feel like that when they go and report rape to them. It's a problem that isn't going away, despite the fact that the Met or the police always put out a statement when a case like this becomes public. They say that we've learnt lessons and that these are rogue officers and these things won't happen again, but they're continuing to happen.
Well, you say the Met put out a statement, the Metropolitan Police have responded to the ruling. They've said we've made important and significant changes to the way we investigate rape, which remains one of the most challenging and complex policing issues. We are committed to providing the best possible service to victims, ensuring that they are at the heart of every investigation. When you hear that, do you see, they say that they're making changes, they have been already making changes, they are listening, but does that correspond with what you're seeing every day?
Absolutely not, and it's very frustrating for us to hear these things being put out when we see the reality every day. Rape isn't one of the most complex things to investigate. Quite often, women don't get their cases sent to court because the police make the most basic of failures. They don't collect evidence, they don't get witness statements, they don't send evidence off for testing. The most basic errors are made, and they're still being made. Victims aren't at the heart of rape investigations. Quite often, the police will close a rape investigation or the CPS will close it when the woman really wants to go to court, not only to get justice for herself, but to also keep other women safe, because when you've been raped or sexually assaulted, you know that the perpetrator is going to go on and do it again. And when you go to the police and you're not believed, it can be just as challenging as the actual assault itself.
The Met's come under fire for this before. I mean, they set up Operation Sapphire. It was meant to deal directly with these kind of cases and to make it easier for people to come forward and report sexual assaults. But what's going wrong? Why, when this case occurred, this is arguably one of the country's most prolific serial rapists, and then yet it was dealt with in this way. What's going wrong?
I think the problem is that rape still isn't taken seriously by a lot of police officers. One victim came to us and said that she felt that the police did believe her, but they just didn't care. And we hear that an awful lot. The problem is we don't have faith in Sapphire officers. We see what happened to Ryan Coleman Farrow. Another officer was jailed before Christmas. Another officer is also facing charges of falsifying documents in up to 63 cases. People don't have faith in the police because they can see that the conviction rate is very low, and you surely cannot blame women for the conviction rate being low when they have no faith in the police. And one other thing that we are very concerned about is the matter of police resources. You know, you can have all the training that you want, police get training, but we need to have resources in the Sapphire units. Just recently, 250 officers were put on an operation to close down flats in Soho because of a big development that's going on there. So they were evicting women that were working safely and putting them more at risk of sexual violence, rather than putting officers into Sapphire.
OK, Nicola, well, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Engineers trying